Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This week's show, we're talking about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about Mission Yozakura Family, Season 1, Episode 15. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. So we're picking up in the aftermath of last episode, where it becomes a fight between Shinzo versus Nomen. And obviously I loved getting Taiyo out of the situation, throwing him outside with a parachute. But it's also because they figured, like, there's always a contingency. Well, for one, Taiyo's already a little banged up from the previous fight, just from Nomen's hits. But also, I don't know if Shinzo knew ahead of time what Nomen had planned. So Shinzo has to take Nomen's hits because he's like, yeah, I have like basically a dead man switch in my tooth. If I bite down on it, it's going to set off explosives in this building. But Shinzo's tanking the hits because he's like, right, I'm not going to surrender because I'm not going to worry about it because I just got to bite time. And Taiyo basically goes on a crazy man spree, throwing out bombs, but they're really fireworks, and shooting guns and trying to be all demonic, scaring people out of the hotel. And it's like, yeah, that's the top priority in any mission, is to save all human lives. And I love that Shinzo pulls out, which I guess might be his trump card, this massive gun. And he's like, yo, like, I'm the only one in my family that can deal with, like, the recoil to this and everything. And it's like, yeah, the biggest flaw you had isn't you were, like, outnumbered. The biggest flaw is you underestimated my little brother. And it's just like, because Taiyo's like on cameras, and they put Nomen in a position to, because he's like, oh, I'll tank this, but it seems like it's enough. I guess he's dead, which I was kind of surprised. It's kind of like the Kurogao situation. I was like, are we really? Wow, I thought we'd be dealing with Kurogao. He'd be like a future issue or something. Like, I don't know if Nomen's dead. It seemed like he is, maybe. So he tanks the shot. It's like pure thunder. It kind of gives me, obviously not the same, but it kind of gives me, what was that technique of Sasuke's? Is it Kirin? Like the lightning beast thing that he does. I can't remember its name off the top of my head. It's something like that. It kind of gave me like vibes of that without the beast marker. It just looks like pure thunder struck the hotel, and Shinzo comes out on top. But at the same time, the mysterious old man pops up, and he touches Taiyo just like he touched that old lady when he was helping her when she was falling forward. And he was like, right, well, if you have a weak body, you can't really protect anything. And then you notice the ring. I was like, he definitely has to be who I think he is. So once I saw like the back of him at the end of last episode, I was like, it's got to be the same old man from Mitsumi's dream at the beginning of the episode, where she was thinking about that day, that incident that led to her hair becoming, having that white streak, and the day that Kishiro beats himself up about, basically drove him insane to have the sister complex he does. But the moment Shinzo meets up with Taiyo, which I thought was interesting, that just as the guy's walking away, Shinzo pops up, but then all of a sudden Taiyo has all these marks on her body. Like, as they examine him, it's like, it's almost like he was shot like 12 times across his body in an instant. So it's like, who knows what that guy's actual skill is. But even later on, Shinzo's like, yeah, like normally, like if there was any firing or anything, even by a sniper, I would have been able to pick up on it. But he's like, whatever it was, I didn't hear anything. I didn't feel any murderous intent, which means the guy's really good at hiding his intention, because maybe it's not murder intent, but his intent wasn't to kill Taiyo, it was to injure him, because it's the plan. So there was no murderous intent. But like, for Shinzo, he's like, there's only one person I know to be able to do that. That means he's like, Taiyo was already hurt. It was a delayed technique. I'm like, it kind of, I don't know if it's you can't help but think of like Fist of the North Star, just with no body explosions, but it's kind of that delayed hit thing. I don't know what he's doing exactly. Is it a weapon? It seems like it's a special ability considering the delayedness of it, but I'm curious, is it utilized through weapons, or is he able to do it with his bare hands? Like, in an instance, he did that to Taiyo. So I wonder, is it kind of almost similar to like Sui, how Sui's like super fast? Like, would Sui even be able to keep up with a move like that? We don't know how it operates, But yeah, Shinzo says that, and Kishiro doesn't really say anything, but it's like, there's only one person they know that's capable of that. I think there's also this quiet anger inside of Kishiro too. Like, obviously the rest of the family's devastated what happened to Taiyo, and obviously he's drawing on Taiyo's face and he's like, oh, I'm trying to keep the levity up. Futaba beat him up, and it's like, right, I held back because we're in an infirmary. But like, just the way he's acting when Futaba comes into the kitchen, like, she knows, because Futaba's able to read him probably better than any of their other siblings can. But it's like, and I kind of got the inkling Kishiro's probably beating himself up. Like, regardless of it all, he did send Taiyo into that mission, and it's like, yeah, he has Shinzo backing him up, but it's still like, regardless of it all, despite like his issues with Taiyo, his attempts to kill him, it's still the thing of, you are my brother, and like, you got hurt like this. So I think it just probably makes him think about failing Mitsumi, because also like Taiyo being hurt breaks Mitsumi's heart. So for him, it's like, I love Mitsumi and I care about Mitsumi. I would never want her sad or hurt. Yeah, I might try to kill her husband, but like, this is different. This is a different circumstance. And I think he's trying to keep the levity up because it's his way of, you know, his sister complex is how he deals with his pain with Mitsumi. Messing with Taiyo is his way of dealing with, once again, he trained him up, put him in this position. He's the one that sent him there rather than going himself. And it's like, well, he figured this would be something that Taiyo could handle. And for one, he knows Taiyo wanted to handle this on his own, so. But like I said, it doesn't come up in the episode because Kishiro keeps it very close to the vest. He keeps up that very, like, you know, obviously like that caricature of like, oh, I keep my eyes closed all the time. I have that like sly fox smile to me, like, was it Jin or Gen from Bleach? Like, you know, like that creepy mother effer, that dude. But like I said, I think it's just kind of a quiet rage, especially just like focusing on him just from time to time, just sipping his cup. So, but obviously all of this was the plan. They send their Hazakura battalion, which is interesting to know. They have an entire army, like over 1,000, like, who are using the Hazakura to various percentages. Because it's like, I think the head of the battalion was like, yeah, like a normal human can't handle above 6%. Noman handles 10. I don't know if he's saying like I handle 60, because he's like, even at 60%, you wouldn't be able to go toe to toe with Yozakura, because the Hazakura in any other capacity is special, but amongst the real deal, it's just a pale comparison, as proven with Shinzo's fight with him. You know, I mean, because even Shinzo had told Noman, it's like, I'm offended that you even compare that travesty to like my family's bloodline. Like, that is enough to piss me off. Like, don't even compare the two. So. But the point was that because of harming one Yozakura to this extent, the entire family would be gathered in the mansion, and that was the plan, to use this as an opportunity to not only wipe out the Yosakuras, but to also get Mitsumi. So, obviously, everyone's locked and loaded and ready to defend the place. It's like, there's like I said, a full battalion outside. So it's everyone except for Kishiro, who defends the back of the mansion himself because he doesn't need to. I don't even love, they're like, oh yeah, big brother, like, you know, the eldest son is the tough guy, and I love Kishiro's like, tough guy. Wow, it almost feels like you're still underestimating just calling me like the tough one. Like, there's no way you're even going to get close. We also see Goliath get bigger than he's ever gotten before. Makes sense with the name Goliath. I mean, we've seen him get bigger before, but I wonder, is this the biggest he's gotten, or he's capable of getting? But the leader of the battalion ends up still taking him down, because obviously because of the Hazakura, like, in their blood, these guys aren't going down easily. And I love that in Futaba's case, she's like, right, normally she's able to knock someone out for like a day, but it's like, fine, you know, when it comes to like fighting hand to hand, she's like, there's only one thing you could do, keep moving forward. So we didn't really get to see it, but I wonder what is Kingo's fighting style, because we see he kind of basically made shadow clones, but I don't know if that's supposed to be like that. I don't know if that's supposed to be depicting like, no, he disguised everyone else as him, so like the guys turn against each other, like, oh, there's Kingo, and try to kill each other. I don't know if that's what it was, or whether he did just like make essentially like his version of shadow clones or something like that. I didn't know how to interpret that situation. I also love Shion literally has a satellite that fires a damn laser down. So I was like, okay. But Home Dude, the leader of the battalion, hits Goliath. And he even said, like, right, I feel bad about this because I'm a dog person, but it is what it is. And they were heading towards Kishiro's wires, and so Kishiro lowered them, which allowed home dude inside of the premises, which Kishiro's like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, this is as far as you go. I'm going to make you pay. But then the old man activates hibernation for the mansion, and it's like, right, only one person would be able to do that. Only the head of the family is able to deactivate. Their ring has to deactivate it. So it's like, right, they're not going to kill Mitsumi. They're going to just need her, so like they're not going to hurt her. So, and Kishiro, he's like, right, the rest of you stay back here and deal with like this battalion. I'm going to get the ring from the head. So it's like all the key signs of this is Mitsumi's dad. I had a feeling last episode during that nightmare of hers that that's who he was. Now, why is he with Tenpopo? Why is he with a group that's trying to take his daughter's heart? Maybe this has something to do with why. Because once again, Tenpopo's the ones who killed Mitsumi's mom. So I don't know what he's gaining from all this. It seems like that's her dad. You would assume so, considering like, right. The whole, like, we met the grandparents, so it has to be, so I'm wondering what his connection is and stuff like that, because obviously he's not a Yozakura, he's like Taiyo, in the regards of, he is a Yozakura, but like Taiyo, he married into the family, typically how that works. So, I mean, because we see, like, God, I'm blanking on her grandfather's name now, it's Bon, right? It's like, I can't remember now, but her Mitsumi's grandfather like has that like contortionistness to him, and he's pretty swift and moving. So like, you know, enough training turns even the most normal person above. It can probably go toe to toe with, you know, the Yosakuras. So whatever his deal is, and like I said, Kishiro wanting to go personally makes me think like, right, this has everything to do with what happened to Mitsumi. So I'm curious if that's also the day her mom died and her father had something to do with it, and that trauma and that pain is what. Because I don't know if Mitsumi put that together, that it's potentially this old man, because maybe like the others, especially because Shinzo made sure to talk about that alone. So part of me wonders, is the rest of the family not, well, no, because he was talking to Futaba like about like getting the ring from the other head, so it's like it's got to be. So I was about to say, like, but the fact is Shinzo, I mean, because he's also, like Kishiro, like I said, has that quiet anger. Shinzo wears his heart on his sleeves, and he blames himself for what happened. Well, he was like, it's not as much what happened to blaming himself for Taiyo. It's like, there's nothing he could have done considering who the opponent is. But the fact is Shinzo waited, but I guess he had to take time to calculate his thoughts, but he didn't have that conversation around the rest of the siblings. So I'm curious, are you inundating the rest? Are you trying to make sure the others don't know? To be fair, the others were with Mitsumi, so you probably didn't want to have that conversation around her, but she has to have put it together to some extent, maybe. But like I said, it depends on how much Kishiro is keeping from her in some extent. I don't know. I think that's why, in particular, he said that, the old man said that line to Taiyo of a weak body, you won't be able to protect anything. Like, as someone who's part of the Yosakura family who protected the previous head, her mom, probably, like, those lines hit even harder potential. I don't know. I'm curious. I'm also curious to find out what Mitsumi's grandfather's going to do when he finds out about this, or Keiko. Like, I mean, they're probably not in a position to really do anything right now because of the respective undercover stuff, but yeah. This is actually the first time, too, in the show we've seen the Yosakuras basically, their home get attacked like this. I mean, Kishiro aside in the first episode, like, for outsiders attacking, this is our first time getting an assault on the Yosakura mansion, so some very, very interesting developments. Considering these circumstances, I highly doubt that this is going to be the fight that Kishiro is going to come out on top. I highly, highly doubt it. Just the nature of it, like the fact is Makoto's the type of character. Just focusing on him really quickly. He's the type of character where you're like, oh, he's slimy, and you're just like, I want him to get his. But the fact of the matter is, it's probably going to be a while. It might not even be something that's dealt with this season. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Once again, in correlation to the manga, which is still ongoing, I don't know where this is in the manga per se. Once again, I've caught glimpses of like what these episodes are chapter adaptations of, but I don't know if this is going to be something that like Tenpopo's dealt with by the end of this season, because we're only like at the halfway point. I don't know if it's going to be dealt with that in this season, like in this arc of the story, like Tampopo's just the main antagonist, or are they like the overarching series main antagonist, and how much of this will be dealt with by the end of the season. Will like Old Man still be around? Because Tampopo is a massive criminal organization. That's why I feel like it's got to be a thing of this is going to be the entire series antagonist, but it could be just a seasonal thing. So we'll see how this all plays out. I don't see this going down the way Kishiro thinks or wants it to. So because we've never seen him on the losing end, and this might be the first time we get to really witness that. Maybe we'll just see how that all goes down next episode. What those conversations between him and, like I said, potentially Matsumi's dad, what that all entails. I'm excited to see what happens next. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.